Objective of this video is, after studying this video lesson, you will be able to understand loops that can be used in Arduino programming and control statements. Before that, first understood why loop in Arduino programming can be used. Suppose if someone asks you the summation of a number starting from 0 to 1000, how much time will you require to calculate it? Now for that case, you need to take 1000 variables, then assign values to the variables starting from 0 to 1000 and then add that variables. It's very difficult. It is very tedious task and it is highly impossible. So computer can do this task of summation in a fraction of a second. The versatility of a computer lies in its ability to perform a set of instructions repeatedly. This involves repeating some portion of a program, either a specified number of times or until a particular condition is being satisfied. This is called as a loop. Let's understand first what is the meaning of a loop. Loop is the block of a statement which are repeatedly executed for a certain number of a time. Loop is a programming construct by which a computer can execute the set of the instructions repetitively for a specified number of a time. The loop control instruction helps the computer to execute a group of statements repeatedly. So therefore, a loop declaration and execution can be done in the following ways. Check a condition to start a loop, initialize the loop with declaring certain variable, executing the statements inside the loop, and increment or decrement of a value of a variable. Now let's discuss types of a loop. There are two types of a loop: top tested loop or entry control loop and bottom tested loop or exit control loop. So let's discuss what is the meaning of entry control loop. In such type of a loop, the test condition is checked first before the loop is executed. So examples of these type of loop is for loop and while loop. So this is what is a flow chart that I have drawn here. First is initialize, means you have to take some variable. Suppose if you take a as a variable, then give a data type to that. So int a, what it indicates? A is the variable which stores the value integer. Then we have to check the expression. Suppose if I want to check whether the number which is stored in the a is less than or equal to 5 or not. Now if it is true, then whatever sentence which are written within the curly brackets will be executed, and if it is false, then it will be outside the loop. So in this case, your condition is checked first. If the condition is true, then only the statements will be executed. This is called as entry control loop. Whereas bottom tested or exit control loop is nothing but, in such type of a loop, the loop is executed first, then condition is checked after block of statements are executed. The loop executed at least one time compulsorily. So example for this is do while loop. This is what is a flow chart for exit control loop. So if you observe a basic difference, in an entry control loop, condition is checked first. If it is true, statement will execute. Whereas in case of exit control, the statement will execute first, then it will check a condition. If it is true, again statement will be executed for that particular program. So you can take a basic example for this is, if you have an iCard, then you can enter into the college through your college gate. But in another way, you can give the example like this. If you have a hall ticket, there is no need to show the hall ticket on the gate. The hall ticket of examination will be checked within the classroom. So first entry is there, then your hall ticket checking will be there. So it is exit control. Whereas in case of iCard, first the iCard, whether iCard is there or not, it will be checked, and if it is there, then entry will be given. So this is what is entry control and exit control loop. Let's discuss first loop, that is a for loop. So as I discussed earlier, it is entry control loop, means it will check a condition first. The for statement is probably the most frequently used loop construct. So syntax for this is for, initialize the counter, then semicolon, test the counter, semicolon, and increment the counter. So this is what is flowchart for the for loop. So let's take an example for the for loop so that we can easily understand this. This is what is the example that we have taken. In a void setup function, the variable is declared here. I is the variable which stores the value having integer type. Then serial dot begin 9600, it sets the 9600 as the baud rate for a serial communication. Now here I have written the for loop for I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. So this is what is a program for displaying the values from 1 to 10. So here I have written within these curly brackets serial dot print I equal to. So it will print I equal to as a statement. And here I have written serial dot print ln I. So whatever will be the value of I, it will be printed and it will go in the next line. The meaning of ln is new line. So therefore, let us discuss now how this for loop gets executed. So what it will do, it will take or assign a value of I equal to 1 first. After that, it will check the condition whether I is less than or equal to 10 or not. So, but obvious 1 is less than 10. So what it will do, it will check the condition. If it is true, then it will execute the statement which is within these two brackets. So I equal to 1 which is less than 10 is true. So therefore it will print I equal to, and here I have taken value, so it will print I equal to 1. Now what happens? After this curly bracket, it will go to the statement I plus plus, means at this point. What is the meaning of I plus plus? The value of I is incremented by 1. So initially it was 2, now it will be a 2. Initially it was a 1, now it will be a 2. So in that case, what again it does? Now it will check, this is very important. Once your value of I is increased, then it will check the condition, whether the condition is true or not. If the condition is true, 2 is less than 10, then again it will execute the statement. So it will print I equal to 2. Again it will go to this point, again increment will be there. Now it becomes I equal to 3. Again it checks the condition, 3 is less than or equal to 10. Yes, so it executes the statement. So likewise, the loop will be executed. But whenever I equal to becomes 11, the condition fails. So therefore, the loop will skip these two brackets and it will reach to this particular point. So this is what is your output window, which shows you the values of I from 1 to 10. Next is while loop. Again, it is an example of entry control loop. Let's take one simple example. While you are hungry and you are eating sandwiches. This means that you ask yourself, am I hungry? Before eating the next sandwich. Means what? You are checking the condition. If the answer is yes, then you eat a sandwich and then again ask yourself, still I am hungry? You keep eating sandwiches until the answer is no. At which point you go on to do something else, like drink some coffee maybe. So if you observe this example, in this case always you check the condition that am I hungry. If you are hungry, then you will consume next sandwich, otherwise not. So this is what is called as entry controlled condition. So this is a syntax for that. Now if you observe for loop and the while loop, its purpose is same, but just the syntax is different. So here in a syntax you have to initialize the counter, then while check the condition, within the bracket the statements that you have to execute it should be written, and then increment or decrement, bracket complete. So this is what is your while loop syntax. This is a flow chart of a while loop. Let's discuss the example, same example that we have discussed in a for loop, but here we are going to use while loop to print 1 to 10 numbers. So this is what is your program for this. So if I want to print the numbers from 1 to 10, so void setup. Now here you have to declare that int I equal to 1, because you have to start from a 1. Then serial dot begin 9600. It is used for a serial communication. Now this is what is called as your initialize the counter. Once the counter is initialized, it will check the condition whether value 1 is less than or equal to 10. If this condition is true, then only it will enter into this bracket and it will print the part, that is serial.print I equal to and serial.println I. So it will print I equal to 1 because 1 is less than 10. After that it will go to this step, that is I plus plus. Now your value of I will be 2. So again it will check the condition whether 2 is less than or equal to 10. If it is yes, if this condition is true, then again it will print I equal to 2. I value will be incremented, I equal to 3. So it will check a condition. So likewise this loop will be executed till this condition satisfies. When your value of I becomes 11, so the condition fails, so therefore it will exclude these two brackets. It will exclude these two brackets and it will reach to the next bracket. So this is what is output of printing 10 numbers by using while loop. Now next loop is nothing but do while loop. So we discussed that do while loop is a exit control loop. When you need to execute a statement at least for once, irrespective of the result of the condition, then you have to use do while loop. Unlike while loop, in which condition is checked at the top of the loop, in do while loop, condition is checked at the bottom. Do while executes the statements first and then checks the condition. That's why it is called as exit control loop. As a result, statements are executed at least once as a condition is not at all checked before the first iteration. So this is what is a syntax. Do, after that curly bracket is open. Do whatever you want means execute a statement, then increment or decrement, and after closing the curly bracket it will check the condition while test condition. So this is what is a syntax for do while loop. Carefully observe the syntax of for loop, while loop and do while loop. This is what is a flowchart of do while loop. Let's take an example to count up to the 25 in 5s by adding 5 to the variable each time through the loop. Means I want to add the number 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 up to 25 to get an answer as a 25. So here I have taken here int sum equal to 0. So why I have taken initially sum equal to 0, I'll explain this here. Then serial begin 9600, it is used for serial communication. Now the code that we are going to write is for count up to the 25 in a step of a 5. So do, first statement is sum equal to sum plus 5. Then serial dot print, it will print as sum equal to, and serial dot print ln without having any double quotes here I have written, so it will print the value, okay, and after that it will go to the new line. Then the delay is provided and here condition is written as while sum is less than 25. So the question is why I have taken here sum equal to 0. So what it do here, if you observe sum equal to sum plus 0, what is the initial value of a sum? It should be 0, otherwise it will take any garbage value. So it should be declared equal to 0. So what happens? This 0 will be stored here. 0 plus 5, what is the value in a sum? 5. So therefore it will display as sum equal to 5. Now it will check the condition. After that it will check the condition. Now whether your value 5 is less than 25, yes. So again it will go to this step. Sum equal to sum plus 5. Now in a previous iteration value of sum was 5. Now it will not be a 0. So 5 plus 5 equal to 10. So it will print 10. Whether 10 is less than 25, it will check. Yes. So it will go here again. So 10 plus 5 equal to 15. So it will print a 15. So likewise it will continue till sum less than 25 condition gets satisfied. So therefore this is what is output for this. So output will be sum equal to 25 in this case. Now let's discuss comparison between three types of the loops. So the first comparison point is its syntax. So I have written syntax of all these three loops. Second point is all expressions are optional. So you can exclude anyone out of this. That is initialize the counter or test the counter or increment or decrement. But in these two type of loops, expression is mandatory. Third is it may execute 0 or multiple times based on the condition specified in the syntax. It may execute 0 or multiple times based on the condition specified in the syntax in case of while loop also. But the basic difference between for and while loop and do while loop, that is these two are entry control, this is exit control. So the basic difference is that it is at least executed once irrespective of a conditional expression. Next is generally in case of for loop, generally used when the number of the repetitions of a loop are fixed. In case of a while loop, generally used when the number of the repetitions of a loop is not fixed. Whereas in case of do while loop, it can be generally used when the number of the repetitions of the loop is not fixed and the loop statement must get executed at least once. And last difference is one can see all three expressions in one line, which is especially useful in case of nested structure. So it is very easy to represent in case of for loop. Whereas in case of while loop, only one expression is mandatory. Initialization expression generally appears before while loop starts. Increment or decrement expression appears inside the statement part of the while loop. Whereas in case of do while loop, only one expression is mandatory. Initialization expression generally appears before the while loop, before the while condition. Increment or decrement expression appears inside the statement part of the do while loop. Conditional expression appear at the completion of a while. Next is control statements, or we can say that decision making statements. Decision making structure requires that the programmer specify one or more conditions to be evaluated or tested by the program. So the first is if statement. This is the simplest form of the branching statements. It allows the decisions to be made by evaluating an expression. It takes an expression in a parenthesis and a statement or a block of a statement. If the expression is true, then and then only the statement or a block of a statement gets executed. Otherwise, these statements are skipped. This is what is syntax for if statement. Now, if expression means condition. Here I have written condition. If the condition is true, then only whatever a statement within these two brackets will be executed. If this condition is not true, then these two brackets will be excluded and your program will reach to directly this state. This is what is if statement. Let's take an example for this. I have taken int student1 marks equal to 62. Means student1 underscore mark is nothing but it is a variable which is of having data type integer and in which the mark placed is 62. So next I have written serial in a void setup function serial begin 9600. We know that why to write this for serial communication. Now here I have taken a condition. If the marks of the student is greater than or equal to 40, then the student will pass. Otherwise student will not. So therefore if this condition gets satisfied, now here 62 is there, so 62 is greater than or equal to greater than 40. So this condition satisfies, so therefore it will print the statement which is within these two brackets. If instead of having 62, if the value was say 35, then this statement will not get executed because the condition fails. So as 62 is greater than 40, it will print the student1 marks is greater than 40, so he passed the examination. This is what is example of if statement. Next is if else statement. When using an if statement, the code in its body runs only when the if statement evaluates to true. Means if the condition is true, then only the statement will execute. If it evaluates to the false, program execution skips the code in the body of the if statement and goes to the statement, the body of the if statement. So by adding an else statement, the code in the body of the else statement will run, but only when its corresponding if statement evaluates to false. In a simple words, I can say that This is what is your syntax. Now here if condition, if this condition is true, it will execute statement 1 and statement 2. If this condition is false, instead of executing statement 1 and statement 2, it will go to else, means it will execute these two statements. So instead of writing 1, 2, I can write here statement 3 and statement 4. So this is what is syntax for if else. Let's discuss example. If the student marks, again I have taken student 1 underscore mark as a variable and I have taken that value as a 35. So here if you observe, I have taken a condition, if student 1 underscore marks is greater than or equal to 40, if this condition is true, it will execute the first statement, that is he is passed. But if this condition is not true, means what? It will go to the else condition and it will execute this statement. So if you observe 35 is greater than 40, it is not possible. So instead of printing this first statement, it will go to the else part and it will print the student 1 marks is less than or equal to 40. So therefore he failed the examination. If else if statement. It is a conditional statement which is used when we want to check more than one conditions at a time in the same program. The conditions are executed from top to bottom, checking each condition whether it meets the conditional criteria or not. If it is found the condition is true, then it executes the blocks of the statements associated to the true part, else it goes to the next condition to execute. So this is what is the syntax for that. If the condition is true, it will execute this. Else if the next condition is there, if it is true, it will execute this. Or otherwise else means what? It will execute the statements which are present here. Okay, so this is a syntax for if else if statement. Let's discuss example of if else if statement in the next line. Now this is what is the example. I have taken marks as a variable and grade as a character. So if you observe here condition what I have taken, if marks are less than 40, then grade will be failed. Or otherwise marks are less than 44. Now here I have taken and. Okay, so in an operator we studied this. This is your AND operation. What is the meaning of this? It will check these two conditions, whether the marks are greater than 40 or less than 44. If the marks are greater than 40 and less than 44. Okay, so in that case the grade will be D. If the marks are greater than 45 and less than 49, then grade will be C. Now next you can write like this also. If the marks are less than 49, okay, and marks are greater than 50, grade will be B. So likewise here I have written the code. Okay, now if you observe marks are 95, so this condition fail, so it will reach to this condition is also fail, so again it will reach to this, likewise it will reach to this condition. So if you observe, as the marks of the students are greater than 80 and less than or equal to 100, so the grade for this student is outstanding, so it will print as your grade is O, that is he or she got outstanding grade. This is what is the example of if else if statement. Thank you for watching.